What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another stream. Thank you all for piling in. Hope you're all a little bit excited. We've got a little bit to talk about today. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it. So I will share my screen here. And first of all, let's just see who we got in the chat before we get super deep into it. What's going on, Daniel? Chosen One. How's it going? Elbosh, what's going on? Chazmandu, how's it going? Dorota. Hope everybody's doing good. Oh yeah, you could hear me in my squeaky chair. Yeah, I need a new chair, honestly. We'll see. Maybe one day. Don't forget, guys, in support of the stream, if you are a supporter and you know how it goes, please click that like button. And let's help bring some more people to the stream as we get started here. Doge is not looking too bad. You're right, the chosen one. Doge is not looking too bad. And we can just go ahead and take a look at where it's sitting right here. And we can see that. If we took a little bit of a step back here, we can see that Dogecoin sitting at 27 cents, almost 28, which is really good. Hey, what's going on, Rafi? Welcome back to another stream, Rafi. And as we take a look at this, guys, if we just look at the price action and do some quick technical analysis, we can see that Dogecoin over the last couple days and even over the last couple weeks was really messing around with that 25 cent line, this orange line that we have drawn here throughout kind of the middle of the average price action. Right here. And we've been sitting on top of that, but we were really kind of downtrending here. And as we got closer and closer to some good news related to this Dogecoin update, and also as Shiba Inu calmed down and stopped stealing our thunder, we started to see some more money start flowing into Dogecoin here. And then you can really see the pickup after this red candle here with these next 4 green candles. We really started to pick up steam, and that's when we really start to see Dogecoin make a run up here. Now, as you can see by the title, what's going on, Artful? As you can see by the title, don't forget, guys, click the like button if you have not, please. I think we're at 5 now, and I think we can get a little higher. And that really brings in the crowd for us, which is when we get all the good questions coming in. But yeah, as you can see here, right here on November the 8th, which is today, at about, what time is this saying here? Around 12? I'm trying to make sure I'm reading this the right way because I know it goes to military time. Okay, so right around 12 o'clock, you can see Dogecoin off this big candle made a spike all the way up at 29 cents, almost 28 cents. Thank you guys for those likes. 28 cents. Almost at 30 cents here. 2977. We haven't seen Dogecoin that high in a long time here. The last time we saw Dogecoin go that high was right after people dumped SHIB and poured money into Doge and people thought something crazy was going on. We saw a very brief spike up to 34, and then there was a very quick pullback as we reset back to normal prices. But before that, the last time that we saw prices that high was when Bitcoin moved up from 29,000 all the way up to 60. That was the last time we were up near 30 cents. And ever since then, I mean, we cooled down. We sold off pretty hard. We ended up going back down under 20 for a brief period of time. And then we've been hovering right around this 25-cent mark here. 25 to 26 cents. Now, we're seeing Dogecoin back to 30. And this is why a couple days ago, guys, I said, make sure you are getting in. Acquire a position. If you do not yet have a position in Dogecoin, why do you not have one? Because we've been waiting. Now, don't get me wrong. I know a lot of us here, including myself, have been waiting and diversifying and putting money into different things because Dogecoin wasn't really doing very much. But here we have one of the biggest catalysts that we've been waiting for. It's inevitable that we at least see a couple cents of a jump at the beginning, even if there's not a whole lot going on. And sure enough, we saw a move up to 30 cents. So if you had bought in when we were talking about it, making sure you loaded up at 25, 26, that was a 20, 30% gain opportunity that you were able to take advantage of there. So hopefully you caught that. Now, as you can see, we are starting to pull back, but that does not matter. The reason I'm saying that is because people are doing the usual thing. They're buying off the hype, and then people are starting to take profit. Just like I said, that opportunity, if you bought at 25, 26 to sell at 30 and make 20, 30%, there are people doing that. That is not just a move that I'm calling out. There are people trading that same exact move because it's an obvious play. But then the question is, what happens after that? And that's what's really important. If the prediction is Dogecoin's going to go and crash, then of course you'd probably want to take that as an opportunity to just sell and close your position, go short if you're a trader and you're into that kind of thing, or just wait for a dip to buy. But that is not the case here. That is not the case. And the reason I say that is because of a few things. One, the title was not at all clickbait. What the heck is that? Dog hairs just floating throughout my home. Dogecoin is updated to 1.14.5. That update is now live, and I'll go ahead and prove it to you in a couple different ways. So if we are to go on Twitter, you can go to Ross Nickel here. He's one of the core lead developers here for Dogecoin. And he does live streams on Twitch pretty much every day where he's just updating the code and answering questions, and he's live streaming the whole thing. Anyway, he went ahead and said right here, this is 2 hours ago. He said, this is probably the biggest update since 1.14.0. Everyone should update. Yes, this means you. And then he said right here that thanks to all the contributors for making this video. And then that post that he retweeted was that Dogecoin Core 1.14.5 is out. It is live. And then here's the credits. And just in case you haven't seen, here's the little video. It's very short. It's like 5 seconds. All right. Announcing version 1.14.5. All right. On top of that, you can then go to the Reddit where they actually post the updates and such. And you can see the change log here, just a brief little thing. If you want the full release notes, you can click on that link. Here's the recommendation to the miners on kind of what settings to use. And then there's also the option to go ahead and make the download. Okay. And if that's not enough for you, well, I'm already running it. So if you didn't believe anything I just said, here's my Dogecoin Core wallet. I am running a node, and I am running a 1.14.5 node, okay? So if you didn't believe anything you just read, I'm literally running it right now. So there you go. Let me say first, before I get into what this means for everybody, if you want to run a node, or if you're running a node already that was 1.14.4, and you want to help support the calls like we did last time, if you would like to run a 1.14.5 node, it's very, very simple, especially if you're already running one. Just go ahead to Dogecoin.com, And then right here, it says choose your wallet, and you'll see Dogecoin Core, and that's what you want to download. Just pick the appropriate one for your computer's operating system, download it, set it up. As you can see right here from the release notes, what they said is this release can be installed over an existing 1.14 installation. All you need to do is download it and click next a couple times, let it do its little setup thing in that same folder, and it installs within seconds. For me, it probably took about 10 to 15 seconds to install, and nothing else had to happen. It did not have to resync the whole blockchain again. It just continued off of what was already downloaded, and it just updated the core wallet. That's all that happened. So all you do, click the download, run it, click next a couple times, let it set up, and you're going, you're good, you're golden. So it was that simple. And there we are, guys. We're already running on 1.14.5. Now, why does the title also say that Dogecoin is about to take off in all caps? Is it clickbait? No. You know I don't clickbait. So, why am I saying that? There's a couple reasons, and they're very obvious, but maybe to not all people. So, what's the big deal about 1.14.5? What is it going to do, and why is that going to make Dogecoin take off? The update to 1.14.5, if you take a look here, there's only two sections here: important security updates and fee reductions. Fee reductions is the key here. What this says, and I'll zoom in for anybody actually trying to follow along with me. What this says here is this release finalizes a new minimum fee recommendation for all participants on the Dogecoin network following the reduction of relay and mining defaults in 1.14.4. With this release, the minimum fees when creating transactions are recommended to be as follows. The minimum recommended transaction fee is 0.01 Dogecoin per kilobyte, and then the recommended dust limit is still 1 Doge. All right. So this is finalizing the new minimum fee recommendation. This is like the full final fee reduction version right here. Now, let me go ahead and just kind of explain a little bit further what's happening here. So what's happening here is the recommendation. So kind of the default setting with 1.14.5 is 0.01 Doge per kilobyte. That's how the transaction fee works. Now, one of the lines here explained, even though this is like the recommendation and technically people can go change that, what it mentioned here was that typically, it says right here, as historically, most relay nodes do not change these default settings, so these often represent an absolute minimum. So basically what that's saying is typically people, miners, whatever, they download the software and they don't actually go in and manually up their prices or up the price or change the fee. They typically just leave it at the default. So by lowering the recommendation and lowering the default, you're thereby lowering the transaction fee for most people, unless the 1 out of 1 millionth miner decides to bump their fee. Now, what actually ended up happening here is the minimum transaction fee got reduced as well. So you can see here that the default minimum transaction fee for Relay is set at 0.001, which is 1/10 of that recommendation. So fees could actually be even lower and be not 1/100th of a Dogecoin, but 1,000th of a Dogecoin per kilobyte. But they are recommending, and they set the default at 1/100th. And that is extremely cheap. That's extremely cheap, and that is 1% of the cost that it was before, because previously that recommendation was 1 Doge per kilobyte. So now we are basically 99% off here. The transaction fees are going to be reduced by 99%. Isn't that crazy? And so why is this important, and why is this going to make Dogecoin skyrocket? Well, it all ties back to Elon Musk and everything that he's been saying. He has been making it very clear, very known, that this update to Dogecoin, the reduction of the mining fees, is kind of that last straw, and the thing that really needed to happen in order for Tesla to view Dogecoin as a currency that was worth accepting. You look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin had its reasons that you would want to accept it as a method of payment. It was stable. It's well known. Tons of institutional investment, and it's also deflationary, so the value of it tends to go up over time. What is Dogecoins? Well, big community for fun, all the memes, all the things that Elon Musk likes, kind of the people's cryptocurrency. And then on top of that, it's cheap to use, but it wasn't quite cheap enough to use. And the 1 Doge fee really holds it back, because you got to think that 1 Dogecoin fee was set a long time ago, like towards the beginning of Dogecoin's creation, maybe at the very beginning, when a Dogecoin was probably worth 1/100th of what it is now. And so as the price of Dogecoin scales and starts to increase, the 1 Doge cost is no longer 1 penny or 1/10 of a penny. Now that's 25 cents to $1, depending on where Dogecoin's price is fluctuating. So it's not so cheap anymore. So they needed to kind of bring that fee down to match the times that we're living in right now, where Dogecoin is worth a lot more. And so now that fee is back down to about, what would that be the equivalent of? About 2/10 of a cent, down from 25 cents to 2/10 of a cent per kilobyte that's in a transaction. So, it's going to be pretty much less than a penny to do a transaction now, which is huge. Now, looking at Elon Musk here, what did he say? Well, someone just tweeted and said, this was 3 hours ago, Core 1.14.5 is out. Users are recommended to update immediately, and also that it reduces the fees, following the reduction of the relay fees in 1.14.4. And then there's also bug fixes and performance enhancements. What did Elon Musk say? He said, important. He went ahead and tweeted a reply emphasizing how important this fee is right here, this fee reduction. Again, saying important, important, important. So that tells you, as soon as most people have their nodes updated and everything's looking good, that should be the last thing that was holding Tesla back from going live with Dogecoin for Tesla. He keeps emphasizing, and he has been over the last couple months, how important that reduction is. And there he is again today, 3 hours ago. So at this point, guys, it's very obvious that you should be invested in Dogecoin. If you've been waiting for an opportunity to enter, or if you've just been trying to time, Dogecoin's kind of trading sideways for a long period of time. What if I can go trade my Floki or my SHIB or Bitcoin, Ethereum, ADA, any other projects here, and take my money out of Doge while it's trading sideways and then jump back in before it skyrockets again? If you've been looking for that opportunity, well, you've had all this time here, and we are now at the point where you should be getting back into Dogecoin before it continues to take off. Dogecoin is already up pretty significantly. When you consider what the price is, the move from 25 cents here up to 27 cents, that's a 10% move just over the course of a day. It's already starting to skyrocket, and it actually moved 20% here from November 6th to November 8th, which is today, and it's pulling back here a little bit, but definitely make sure you're in before that announcement goes live, because it's coming, and you don't want to be sitting out like I always used to say when Dogecoin was a little more volatile. You don't want to be caught sitting on the sidelines out when an announcement comes, when a catalyst hits, and you know that day is coming soon, and you just decide to be greedy, and you don't take an entry. So start getting in there. Strongest recommendation I can give. Do with that what you want. But I've been given this recommendation for the last couple days, because we already knew that this update was supposed to be coming in live by Monday. So if you didn't listen to the streams last week, you already missed 10 to 20%. Don't miss out on 50 to 100%. Let me read some of your questions. We can keep going. Doge is looking good today. I agree. So some questions from Artful here. What does the Doge update mean? All right, yeah, we just covered that. When do we see the Doge wallets? Why is ETH pumping? What other triggers is Elon now waiting for to accept Bitcoin and Doge? And when do we see the spot ETF for Bitcoin? Oh, you got a lot of questions. What are my thoughts on Elon selling Tesla shares in his poll? Oh, that's a good one. Where do we see Doge going in November, December? Good questions. What's going on, Rick and William? Hope you guys are doing good. Welcome to the stream. So I know I answered what does the Doge update mean, so I'll skip that one. Now, when do we see the Doge wallets? That's a good question here. I would assume that we see those by the end of December or even by January. And just in case you guys don't know what he's referring to, he's talking about the wallets from Robinhood, the Robinhood wallets. That is the second biggest catalyst, in my opinion, that we could have. Honestly, that might even be... I know to most people it's Dogecoin for Tesla, and that's the one that's really going to pump the price. But I think for the long-term sustainability and longevity of Dogecoin, and keeping its price up, I really think that the Robinhood wallets is the biggest catalyst that Dogecoin can have for its success. And the reason I say that is because we already know that the majority, sorry, I'm getting tongue-tied here. The majority of Dogecoin is being held and traded on Robinhood, which means that most of the Dogecoin in circulation right now cannot be spent. So even if we get a Dogecoin for Tesla announcement, yes, that might pump the price, but then people are just going to sell and take profit. All the Robinhood users that have their Doge, they can either sell, take profit, deal with capital gains, whatever, and then go buy a Tesla with cash, or go, sell and then buy Dogecoin on another exchange that gives them wallets and then buy a Tesla, or not do any of the above. They just have to, they just take profit. We see Dogecoin spike, and then we see Dogecoin dump as everyone sells. The better option is going to be if Robinhood gives wallets to people, they can actually spend that Dogecoin. So the price pumps, people hold, people spend. People buy things with it. It stays in circulation. There's no sell orders being executed on exchanges that are going to drop the value of the Dogecoin significantly. So for that reason, it would be ideal in a perfect world, if I could time it, get Robinhood wallets first, then get Dogecoin for Tesla. Will that happen? I'm not sure. I almost don't think so, but hopefully, maybe Elon Musk, if you happen to be in the stream, because you're just, I don't know, you do some random stuff sometimes. As we know, with the memes and the fun you like to have, please consider doing your announcement post Robinhood wallet for the success of Dogecoin overall. And honestly, Tesla, so you don't get baited. Now, what was the next question? So I think December, July is pretty reasonable for a time frame. Could happen sooner than that. And the reason I'm saying that is Robinhood has had plenty of time already. It's been a couple months to start after they announced it that they were looking into it. They've had plenty of time to make this work. It shouldn't be that hard. The hardest part, I think, should really just be figuring out the model that they're going to make money off of it from. And maybe they introduce ads into the... I think they're going to make a separate Robinhood wallet application, and maybe they just do ads so that they make money off the ad views. Because if they're going to try and remain... they're supposed to be a free exchange, so then implementing charges is kind of awkward. But we'll see how they do it. There's a lot of different things to consider because there's still going to be transaction fees, so people will still have to pay, and then what happens to the whole experience. There's a lot to consider. Now, why is Ethereum pumping? So we've been talking about this for the last week. There's a couple things that I said you should absolutely be buying if you're looking into diversifying your cryptocurrency portfolio. That's Bitcoin, obviously, pretty much at any time. But if we're not going to state the obvious, we're talking about altcoins here, that would be Ethereum and Dogecoin, and then with a side of Cardano. All right, Ethereum, Dogecoin with the side of ADA. The reason why you should be buying Ethereum is because Ethereum, every single day that passes, it gets closer to Ethereum 2.0. That is a major catalyst. Ethereum is just gaining in popularity as time goes on. It is not going down. Fees are getting more and more expensive, which means there's even more demand for miners to help support the mining network, as people are going to be enticed by the amount of money that they can make mining. And so you've just got all this use case and this lore coming from Ethereum here. The biggest NFT space on Ethereum, the most popular blockchain network is Ethereum. All the smart contract and DeFi apps, the most well-known ones, are running on Ethereum. This is the big boy in the blockchain space here. So Ethereum is not slowing down. It is kind of like the Apple or the Tesla or the Google or the Microsoft or even the Amazon of the stock market, where just the more that keeps getting piled onto this, the higher the valuation is going to go, and it's going to continue. And then on top of that, when you add on the fact that we're getting closer to an ETH2 update, which should be coming in before Q2 of next year, if things stay on target, and the price will probably be somewhere up here. So pretty much anybody that looks at this at whatever price are just thinking, oh, this is a discount, load up, because next year we're going to be up here, so it doesn't matter. Buying dips does not matter quite as much, so you're not trying to time the Ethereum market. Plus, there's been plenty of load ups. That ship has kind of sailed. On top of that, Ethereum is number 2 market cap, which means that it is pretty stable, and it's going to be following Bitcoin pretty much to a T. So you look at Bitcoin's price action here, you see Bitcoin's doing the exact same thing. Had to move up, the pullback, and now it's heading back to all-time high territory as well. And so that's what we're seeing Ethereum do, kind of follow that Bitcoin action. Both of these guys are fully prepared to take off like a rocket and not look back. So hopefully you have your portfolio set and you're not being greedy. Greed is leads to your downfall, and that could mean you missing opportunities, could mean you losing money. ETH targets for this year, I would not be surprised if Ethereum's sitting at near 6,000 to 7,000 by the end of December 31st. I think Ethereum could easily go up another $1,000 over this next month. Now, this is going to be heavily reliant on what Bitcoin does, though, so please keep that in mind. Bitcoin has about 3 weeks to hit its price target of 100K that everyone has its eyes set on. If Bitcoin misses the target by a lot and looks like it's stalling out and has a slow grind up to like 90 or 100,000 by the end of the year instead of the end of the month, Ethereum could just be sitting at like 5,500 or something like that. But I think Bitcoin should be staying on target. We should be seeing 100K pretty easily. We should be seeing Ethereum a couple $1,000s higher by the end of the year, just to be conservative. There's too many factors right now. I don't really want to say too much, but there's that. What other triggers is Elon now waiting on to accept Bitcoin and Doge? Nothing. Honestly, nothing. Bitcoin is pretty much ready to go. Bitcoin can happen at any moment. There was already a leak about a week ago. There was already a leak that Bitcoin and Dogecoin have been getting added back into the code for like a live release, like the website's code to accept as online payment. There was already that code leaked. So you saw Bitcoin and then you saw Shiba. Someone dug into all the code and went through a couple layers to find out that Shiba was in fact code for Dogecoin. So we already know what's happening. There's a lot of people asleep right now that are not buying into the news that we already have. So don't be one of those people, all right? You get the inside information from these streams and from following other people on like Twitter that are dispersing the information. Don't be the one. Don't waste that opportunity and advantage by not buying in cheap when you can. And then you end up somehow, you knew first, but you buy in last. Like, that's only you to blame there. So make sure everybody, you're taking advantage of the information you have. But for Bitcoin, it's already, as far as everyone's concerned, even Elon Musk said a couple months ago, he thought that the threshold he gave was already hit for 50% or higher clean mining. It's been like 2 months since he said that. And it was only 2 months after he made the first announcement that it hit that target. So at this point, we're probably upwards of 75%. There's nothing being waited on any longer for Bitcoin to be accepted again. Dogecoin, probably just a lot of people running these nodes to make sure that everything goes smooth. A lot of people updating to 1.14.5, and that could happen, by the end of next week. So it is just a ticking time bomb now as far as when is Dogecoin going to explode off this announcement. And don't forget, guys, a lot of the hype has calmed down. All right, so I don't want to, I'm very realistic on these streams at all times, and it's a lot more exciting and fun sometimes to listen to other people saying Dogecoin will go to $1 off this announcement. Dogecoin will go to $5. It's fun. It makes you feel good. It makes you get excited. Realistically, Dogecoin hype has calmed down a lot over the last couple months. And as much as we love Dogecoin, we've had tons of opportunities to make money off the volatility. Maybe with the Elon announcement today, Dogecoin might go to 40, 50, 60 cents. Maybe it doesn't hit $1. Maybe it doesn't hit 80 cents. Maybe it doesn't hit all-time highs immediately. What you need to consider, though, is what this means long-term for the coin. I think most of us here are here not just for the pump. We've seen plenty of those, but for the long haul. For the long-term success of Dogecoin, this announcement is bigger than anything. This announcement combined with Dogecoin wallets, because Tesla is a market-leading company. In the same way that it was one of kind of the pioneers, the market leaders, or should I just say first, like in the market, to start accepting Bitcoin as a currency, one of the first big companies to do that. And it really set the example for other companies to say, oh, wait, if Tesla's doing this and, they can make sure it makes sense for them financially, it must be trustworthy, it must be safe enough, it must be a good idea. And so the smaller companies start taking note and they start following in the footsteps of the market leader because they want to be like dad, basically. And anything dad does must be a good idea, right? It's the same thing for Dogecoin. Even if it does not spike 50x immediately, other companies are going to take note, and then we're going to see a whole nother surge of brands, companies making sure that they accept not just Bitcoin, but also Dogecoin as a method of payment and trying to take advantage of that opportunity. All right. So I don't really care what happens right off the pump. I think that announcement will cause Dogecoin to probably go at least to 50, 60 cents pretty quick. But I think even over the next couple months after that, after the pullback from people taking profit off the move, there's going to be a whole nother wave of Dogecoin slowly grinding up to like $1 plus as it really becomes situated as a real currency of the people. So this is just the first step to a long journey. So I'm excited for that. Where do we see Doge going in November, December? Depends on if we get that announcement from Elon or not, and if we get Robinhood wallets. I think if we say no Elon, Robinhood wallets only, Dogecoin could easily be 40 to 50 cents on its own. I think Dogecoin's already bottomed out, and it's proved that it's at the bottom. It doesn't want to sit under 20 to 25 cents here, and so now it's ready to actually do its move up. You see here how it hit the bottom twice here, kind of like a double bottom scenario. After the first dumps here, we got that 1, 2, and now we're starting to grind up here. If we can clear like 31 cents, clear 35 again, people will start feeling a little more bullish, and then we'll start heading towards the 40 to 50 range. And I think we could be sitting there by the end of December. If we also get the Dogecoin for Tesla announcement, I think we can make that 50 to 70, maybe even 80, somewhere up here. And I wouldn't be surprised if we get near that dollar target. I'm just trying to be conservative. Let the extra be a surprise. That's how I like to do things. What's the reasonable conservative price target? And if it goes beyond that, cool. That'll be nice, fun, and exciting. But, surprise me. That's the way I look at it. I've always said, though, when people have a set target, like Doge to $1, when they think it's going to hit that, usually people wisely take profit sooner so it doesn't actually hit. So that's why I don't know if we're going to actually hit $1 exactly. We might hit 95 cents. We might hit 90 cents. We'll see. Awesome, Daniel. You also are running that 1.14.5 node. Good to hear. And guys, if you want to help, Ross Nichols said it's not a major, massive help, right? Because mostly it's the actual miners that are doing most of the heavy lifting. But if you want to support the 1.14.5 movement, and let's just say you're already running a Dogecoin node, if you are or if you're not, all you have to do is go to dogecoin.com, download the latest core, all right? Pick your computer's operating system. This will download the latest version, as you can see right here, 1.14.5. It'll download that version for you, and then you just go through the setup steps to run it. If you already have a node, this will only take like 15 seconds because it doesn't have to re-download the blockchain. It just updates the client and it continues on. If it's your first time running a node, then it will take about a day, just depending on your internet and your computer, to download all the gigs worth of blockchain information from the beginning to now. Could take a day or two or less. But that it's simple to get started. So my point is, go ahead, give it a go. Let's see. Hey, Neo, it's time to join the Matrix. Nice. Chosen One says, I'm up like 600% in SHIB. Missed the all-time high. I got greedy. But anyways, would you recommend a sell for cash or exchange it for Doge? I would recommend exchanging it for Doge. I would not necessarily sell all of your SHIB, though. The reason I'm saying that is because when SHIB actually goes live on Robinhood, there will be another pump. And so just depending on how active you are with monitoring your portfolio and monitoring the charts, I would hate for you to miss that next move, because SHIB will probably go back towards that 8,000 level and maybe even take off one more zero. And I would hate for you to miss that. So maybe take like 50% of your profits and dump that into Doge and just have it 50-50 split, unless you want to be more diversified than that. You could also throw some into ETH and, whatever else floats your boat. But yes, I would recommend selling some for Dogecoin, because the thing is, just don't forget what happened here. On Shiba Inu, all right, this is just me being logical. On Shiba Inu, we saw on 1027 to hit the top, and then a massive sell-off right after that. All right, 1027 right here. If we go to Dogecoin, look at what happened when it hit the top and people took profits. 1027, This was when Dogecoin was at its rock bottom, which is when SHIB was at the top. When people dumped SHIB and they sold at 8,000 and started taking profit, they shifted all that money back into Dogecoin, and that's when Dogecoin saw its all-time high. So basically, what I'm thinking here is SHIB, Dogecoin's going to have its moment where Dogecoin does what SHIB did. It's going to go up and SHIB's going to go down. Then when Dogecoin sells off, it's probably going to flip back around, because Dogecoin and SHIB are the top two dog-related meme coins, I guess you could say, even though they're not memes anymore. You know what I mean? So they're going to be playing kind of the flip sides of each other. So for that reason, I wouldn't recommend selling all your SHIB, but I also wouldn't recommend holding on to all of your SHIB, because if Dogecoin gets this announcement before Shiba Inu gets the Robinhood wallet announcement, Doge is going to skyrocket and be up here, and everybody in the SHIB space that doesn't mind holding some Dogecoin is going to start selling, including people like yourself that were hodling it, and you'll just see SHIB start to tank, and then you'll be even more upset that you didn't cash out anything. I would definitely not be fully holding SHIB. The only downside right now is you've missed a really large amount of profit here. I think this is down, about 30% from the top. So that kind of sucks. Actually, a little more than 30, about 40%. So a lot of profit missed, but you can't go back in time. So that would be my recommendation still. Let's see. It is a monumental day indeed. Is it going to go down one more time before it goes up? William says. So yes, it's possible. I would definitely not bet on Dogecoin pulling back, guys. And this is where I talk about, and this is not directed to William, but in general, this is where I talk about greed and where that comes into play with trading. Don't forget, guys, hit that like button if you haven't, and subscribe if you're new to the channel. Welcome. But this is where I talk about greed and trading and where those two things should not mix. It is understandable if you want to look for a pullback, right? And you want to buy at a dip. But if the price is already low and you know you've got something coming up here that's going to make the price skyrocket, it is extremely risky. It's way more risky to buy at the current price, which isn't at the rock bottom, but it's close, than it is to wait and hope for a dip because you want to buy the absolute bottom and time it perfectly. That is greed. Buying here because you know you've got a good catalyst, and maybe let's just say you DCA, you put 50% in or 75% in of what you would want to have in total, and you just wait and see, is it going to take off? Or if there's a pullback, then you dump the rest into the pullback. That's playing it smart. Playing it greedy is saying, I'm not putting anything in because I'm going to just hope that I can get a dip at 24, 23 cents that I can all in at. Because what's going to happen, if that does not happen for you and Doge just goes to 30 or 32 cents, then you're going to FOMO buy in, and your whole plan just went completely upside down. So instead of you getting in at a good price, you actually bought in at the worst spot possible, and it was a FOMO buy. You're buying in at the top. Then if there's a pullback, maybe you freak out and you sell. So now you just turn that whole play upside down. Everyone else made a ton of money. Somehow you lost money on the play. I do not ever recommend doing that. If there was no catalyst in the pipeline for Doge, sure, maybe you want to wait it out maybe another week or 2 or 3 to see if we move back to like 26 or 25. But knowing that we have the update that Elon Musk said kind of is what we've been waiting on, the one last sign before Doge for Tesla comes, and then him constantly saying how important this update is, making it very obvious as he can, that Dogecoin is at pretty much the point where it's ready for Tesla. Still being greedy here, looking for a pullback, is not the play I would make. So I would say, just like I said last week when Dogecoin was at 25 cents, this is the buy time. And honestly, today we hit a point where it was no longer the buy time. So this is the pullback, because we already went up to 30 cents today and we pulled back to 27. So this is your dip. I would not keep messing with this. It's like playing with fire here. If you believe in what's about to happen, you'll be loading up now. That's pretty much the summary. Let's see what else we got. What's the next catalyst for Doge? Robinhood wallets, and then that's pretty much Dogecoin at its peak. I know Elon Musk also mentioned something he thought would be nice, which was like a larger block size and smaller block time for Dogecoin. So maybe they'll do that in like a future update down the line, but that's not nearly as important. So, but as far as we're concerned, that's really it. And anything else will just be icing on the cake. Dogecoin's a pretty simple project. It's just supposed to be a store of value. It doesn't need to be worth $20, $50, $100, be deflationary, hyper deflationary with NFTs and all kinds of crazy stuff and all these fancy features. That's for other projects. Dogecoin is a retail focused coin, kind of like Bitcoin, where it's a store of value. It's meant to be held, it's meant to send to people as payment, and it's meant to be received as a form of payment, kind of like cash. Cash doesn't have all these fancy functionalities either. There's other projects for that. You've got, cash wrapped up digitally and put onto credit cards that give you all these rewards and stuff. That's where all that stuff comes in. But cash, the actual asset by itself, is super simple. And that's kind of what Dogecoin is. It's super simple digital cash that's fun and that everybody loves. So that's pretty much where we're at. I think with this update, that makes it functionally reasonable to be used on a corporate level, where the fees are getting really low. So people that are doing hundreds or thousands or millions of transactions per day, they're not really feeling the pain of losing money to transaction fees. Now that these fees have been reduced by 99%, it's going to be much more viable and appealing to these companies. So I think that's where Dogecoin needs to sit. Everything else beyond this is just going to be icing on the cake. And we know next year there should be, Doge Ethereum bridge once Ethereum gets on ETH2, but that's way down the line. I'm not even thinking that far ahead yet. Right now, I'm just doing it one step at a time, which is Dogecoin 1.14.5 transaction fee reduction, Robinhood wallets, Dogecoin for Tesla, and then everything else is just a bonus. That's way less important. Dogecoin is late. Yes. Could you explain what you just tweeted me? Okay. What did you tweet me? Let's see. You tweeted me and asked me to explain your tweet. All right, let me see if I can make sense of it. Updated Bitcoin roadmap. Next up, wave 2 correction, then on to the wildest part, which is the wave 3. Okay. Let's see. We are where? Here? Can I explain this? Well, it looks like they're just projecting that we're going to head towards, and I guess this is off historical data, am I right? Are these previous years, these other lines? It is. Okay, so the blue line is 2017's price activity, and then the red line is 2013's. One thing to note, though, is that 2017, which was much more recent, its price movement was not as extreme by about 50%. So, I mean, this topped out at the equivalent of 250K, where 2013's topped out at 500K. So, I mean, will this actually top out at half of 250? Which would be about 125 by the end of the year. I think that's a lot more reasonable. Anyway, yeah, I'm not super into all this stuff. I don't look at patterns that heavily, but I mean, that's the way it looks. He's basically saying projection is here's where we are, and by the end of December, here's where we should be at about 350,000. So far, it's not looking that way. I would expect us to be by the end of December somewhere between $80,000 and $125,000 on Bitcoin. That would be my guess. No charts, and that's just based off where we're sitting now and the momentum. But obviously, things could pick up and we just take off like a rocket. I'd be more than happy to see it, because that means cryptocurrency would go nuts and we'd all be doing very well. So there's that. Let's see. Just experienced a gas fee nightmare some weeks ago. I had to unstake from a pool and the fees were horrible. Would never use ETH again with its fees. Harmony is much better. Hey, I feel you there. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but when I stopped using Ethereum because of the gas fees, I was trading options and stuff on the blockchain and moving money around. Gas fees were approaching $200 per transaction, which was nuts and was really discouraging. Okay, now gas fees are $600 to $700 during peak hours. I don't know if it's just me, but paying $1,000 to do an action does not float my boat, okay? I don't care if you're a millionaire. I don't even care if you're a millionaire. You only get $1,000 if you're a millionaire, okay? That runs out pretty fast. So, not a fan of that. Won't be using Ethereum either. And I haven't since, honestly. It's been months. And I don't plan to use the blockchain until ETH2 comes out, because unless I'm using a layer 2 solution or some kind of program that avoids the gas fees, like that's just not happening. Let's see. And I do think that's a bit of a concern too, being that gas fees are kind of priced into NFTs. I know this is a bit unrelated, but come next year when ETH2 comes around and it's all proof of stake and those gas fees are kind of non-existent anymore, I'm curious what that'll do to the value of some of the NFTs that had gas fees priced into them. Just a weird off thought there, but maybe think about that as well. What do you expect to see a Doge? When do I expect to see Doge for Tesla? By the end of the year. I'd say hopefully by the end of January. I kind of like to push it out a little bit extra, but really, realistically, I'd like to see it by the end of December. I would expect Dogecoin to be anywhere from 50 cents to $1. Honestly, I would expect the pump to move us anywhere from 55 to 80 cents. It really just depends on how the market's going to react. And it's a little hard to tell. There's so many people that have lost faith in Dogecoin. It really depends on if those people regain faith and come back and FOMO buy in. If they do, I mean, we could see anywhere from 80 cents to $1.20 even, I think could happen very briefly. If we don't, I think it's going to be much more conservative, and we could see like a 55 to 60 to like 80 cent move. And then people start taking profit, and then we wait for a couple more companies to jump on board, Robinhood wallets and all that stuff, and then we slowly grind up from like 80 to $1 and a little beyond. But I'm not going to say I think the announcement will take us straight to $1. I mean, that is what I was saying like a month ago and 2 months ago, but we were here, and we were even here, and now we are like here and here. We're in a little bit of a different situation. It's still possible. It's just going to be harder to achieve. So 55 or 60 cents to 80 cents. And that's still massive gains, by the way. We are under 30. That is 2 to 3x your money. That is crazy gains right there. Especially if you're just buying in now and you were messing around with other projects. A quick 2 to 3x gain in a couple weeks. Most people, they'll throw their money in a ETF in the stock market just to get 8% per year. So if you're talking 100 to 150 to 200% in a couple weeks, that is like a lifetime's worth of investing. Musk can invest 20 billion soon. I don't think he will. Now here's the thing, guys. I don't know if you guys saw this, but I forgot to answer your other question, Artful. What do I think of Tesla? So I don't really have any news on the ETF. I haven't been looking at that. What are my thoughts on Elon selling Tesla shares in his poll? So just in case you guys don't know, Elon Musk did tweet and ask, because people were giving him a hard time saying that he was avoiding taxes as a billionaire, just practicing tax evasion by not realizing any of his gains, which is really dumb. This man's basically living broke, and people are criticizing him because he's not paying taxes on the money he doesn't even have yet, because he hasn't sold shares. Because let's say he doesn't take profit for too long, and the share price goes down eventually, and Tesla tanks. He gets screwed over. So what does it even matter? It's kind of a dumb argument, but anyway, he just played into it. He said, much is being made lately of unrealized gains being a means of tax avoidance, so I propose selling 10% of my Tesla stock. Do you support this? Most of the votes, 60% said yes, 42% said no. I voted yes, just because I know Elon has been living off of basically nothing. He doesn't even take a cash salary or bonuses from anywhere. So the only way that he gets money to live and to pay stuff personally is if he sells some of his share in the company, which I think kind of sucks. Because each time he does that, he loses more control, because your stake in the company, the amount of stock you own is kind of how much control or ownership of the actual company you have. So being the CEO and the leader of Tesla, if he sold all his stock and his share, he would have no more, technically no more control over the brand. Despite him being an employee, he wouldn't be able to just put his foot down and say, well, I'm the shareholder here, I own the company, and so this is where I want us to go. Anyway, so there's that. A lot of people, including myself, were just like, oh, well, what if you sold that 10% and then you put that into Dogecoin, right? How fun would that be? Now, he might buy some Dogecoin. I know his son, he bought some Dogecoin for his kid. I would just be very careful about expecting him to buy a whole lot of Dogecoin with his money. If he does, obviously that could be a big catalyst, and a lot of people might also buy some more Dogecoin, just saying, wow, Elon Musk put $1 million in, or $10 million into Dogecoin. Wow, he's really behind this, and he's going to make sure it succeeds. And that argument's valid. But usually, Elon Musk does not, these days at least, he tries to stay out of the things that he's also helping pump. And that really becomes, for legal reasons. SEC involvement. He got in tons of trouble before for manipulating the price of Tesla stock based off his tweets, unintentionally or intentionally, while he was a holder of Tesla stock. And that's pretty illegal. So I think he might fear buying a whole lot of Dogecoin and then doing things to manipulate the price so that the government does not come after him. But at the same time, he might not care. There's not a whole lot of regulation in crypto right now, so he could probably get away with it. It's just a little scary. So I don't think he'll do it, but it's also possible he will. I wouldn't write it off either. Let's see. What's going on, Kid Wilson and Steven and Mathan? Hopefully I pronounced that right. Felipe, we got a lot of new people in. Don't forget, subscribe if you haven't. Welcome to the channel. XRP key dates. I did not see any new dates. Elon will take his options and buy stocks, but first he will take the price down, so he will pay taxes and have more shares as before. Well, let me reread that. Elon will take his options and buy stocks, but first he will take the price. So yeah, selling 10% would tank the price of Tesla. I don't think he would just rebuy in though. When's a good time to sell XRP? Probably no time soon. Now is kind of the time to buy in expectation of Coinbase and other exchanges getting things figured out with the SEC. So I definitely wouldn't be thinking this is a sell time for XRP. XRP is just getting started, in my opinion. XRP is pushing towards 1.3. Good stuff. What's my opinion of Wolverine? Oh boy. I hear they're growing very fast and partnering up with the guy who did the sheep logo. Interesting. I have not heard anything about about Wolverine. I've stayed away from all the additional Inu coins with the exception of like SHIB and Floki, just because that's the one the Dogecoin millionaire is getting into. I really don't mess with all the additional Inu coins. I question the longevity of them just because right now the whole Shiba Inu dog and dog related coin thing I think is kind of a fad. And I think by the end of next year, people will be onto something different where there will be a whole nother theme that people are obsessed with, and it may not have to do with a dog or Shiba Inu specifically. And so me being more, even though I'm a trader, I like to trade long-term projects that I think have a lot of up potential going forward. That's why I usually stick to like Ethereum, Bitcoin, all that kind of thing. I do stay away from a lot of the Inu coins for that reason. I don't think they'll last very long. But over these next couple months, going into even the first half of next year, I mean, those things could 10, 100, 1,000x. So, but I'm just saying, I haven't researched it, so I don't know. Sorry, wish I had a better answer. Let's see. Oh, they're gonna have a billboard in New York Times Square? Well, that's pretty big. Well, they'll definitely be getting some attention. So if you've got that info before most people, I would definitely consider a buy, taking a chance. Because that could be big. That's a lot of marketing right there. Most coins and projects don't do much marketing. But if you're going to have billboards up, especially in Times Square, there's going to be a lot of attention. And so other people that are walking down the street that like doing those kind of investments are going to be like, oh, what's this? Hey, no problem, Felipe. That's why ETH traders will move to Solana. What's going on, kid? All right. Is that pretty much everything? All right. I think I called up, guys. I don't know if you heard my phone going off. I do have to run. I'm supposed to be meeting somebody. So thank you all for hanging out. I think I answered all the questions anyway, so that's perfect timing. If you're new to the channel, click subscribe before you go. It only takes a second of your time, and that way you will be here for the next stream, which will probably be Wednesday, as long as nothing crazy happens tomorrow. But you can also follow me on Twitter in addition to subscribing if you want. At 2020 Tech Reviews is where I sit and where I'm active pretty much all day, and I'll be there tomorrow as well. So anyway, thanks for hanging out, guys. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and I'll catch you all in the next stream. And don't forget, buy Dogecoin.